and welcome to Voices for Global Citizenship, Episode 2, the podcast where we explore how we can all contribute to a better and more connected world. I'm Sofia.
And I'm Mariana.
High school seniors studying economics in a school in Portugal. And we are super excited about today's guest. Joining us is Pedro Portugal, who works at the European Parliament. Welcome to the podcast, Pedro.
Hello, Mariana. Hello, Sofia. Nice to be here.
So, before we dive into today's topic, what is your role in the European Parliament?
Well, I'm working at the Transparency Unit as a legal administrator, meaning that my role is mainly to provide legal advice and to help drafting legal documents.
Oh, that's really fascinating. So, tell us, how did you get to this position in the European Parliament?
I was legal counselor at the Portuguese Permanent Representation in Brussels. You know, each member state is represented in Brussels by an embassy, which is called permanent representation. One of the subjects I was following there was indeed transparency in the European Union. So after that post, I had the opportunity to be seconded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to the European Union.
That's really interesting. Working on transparency in the European Parliament sounds important. Now, our focus today is public speaking for global citizenship. To start, how would you define global citizenship?
Well, I would define it as a link that connects world citizens, not to the country of their residence or to the state they are citizens of, but to each other via networks or of social, environment, cultural, or political engagement. It's a way, in my opinion, of acting locally to address issues with global impact, such as climate change, pandemics and poverty, or world peace. And also the other way, acting globally to solve local problems, such as human rights, health issues, quality of local fresh water, or poor housing.
Well, that's an important perspective. Global citizenship really emphasizes how interconnected we all are, regardless of our borders or nationalities, as you said. So it's not just about understanding global issues, but also taking responsibility to act and engage in meaningful ways. Sometimes the best way to act is through communication. In your opinion, what's the impact that communication, for example, public speaking, has in global citizenship?
It plays nowadays a big role, not only in global citizenship, but also in relationship between institutional actors and citizens or their associations. As I see it, global citizenship is a direct democracy tool at a larger scale. And it's like an add-on to classical representative democracy, not a substitute, as some people might think. Both tools, direct democracy and representative democracy, should aim at communication and integrity. I would like to stress this, in order for their objectives and messages to be clear, transparent, and complementary in the interest of citizens.
I really like your point of view. That's a really interesting point. Communication really is key in connecting institutions and citizens. In your experience, how does strong communication contribute to building trust and transparency in governmental or even European institutions?
I will answer to that very important question with an example taken from real life. The last European parliamentary elections in June 2024, they are a very good example. When people trust you, they are ready to engage and to give you their support. It was the highest vote turnout around 51%, for 30 years, so since 1994. Maybe you were not born yet. Some people might say that it was due to strong polarization of the campaign, the reason for this high turnout. But it was surely because voters felt engaged and involved. And that happens when they are respected and taken seriously. A good, strong communication helps building a transparent, meaningful, and mutually reliable relationship between representative institutions and citizens, strengthening democracy.
Yeah, that's a great example. It shows how trust and good communication can boost engagement. Considering this, do you think that teaching public speaking in schools is essential for preparing students to connect and engage effectively?
Absolutely. Let me tell you this. When I was a law student at the university, most of my colleagues were not happy about having to take oral exams if they failed to score enough in their written exams. My feeling already at the time was that learning how to speak in public, how to stand up for your beliefs, stepping outside your comfort zone, as they call it nowadays, was a very useful skill, not only for lawyers and judges. Most of my colleagues became one or the other, but also for those pursuing a political, diplomatic, or civil service career. And I can assure you, having gone through oral exams was actually a plus for my education.
What a good example. That really highlights how valuable public speaking skills are in real life, not just for law professionals, but for also in careers in politics and for students. Building confidence and communication abilities at a young age can set the foundation for future success in any field. However, this might be a little intimidating to young people. Do you have any advice for them?
Do not be afraid of speaking in public, whoever may be in front of you. Of course, you need training, but the best training is by doing. Always convey clear ideas through simple words. People will eventually remember what your message was. At high school or university, take the opportunity to pick those optional courses related to communication and integrity again, if they are not mandatory. After bachelor, if you are hesitating about your master or your postgraduate course, choose something related to transparency or ethics or speech writing. A good speech is also very important, as many people are afraid of improvising.
That's a great advice. Public speaking is so much more than words. It's all about trust and real communication, as you said. And I'm sure many young people, as I, will take notes of the tips that you've shared today with us and use them to build their confidence and communication skills. So thank you so much for joining us today, Pedro.
Thank you. Thank you both.
I thank you so much for joining us. And this conversation, as you said, is truly show how public speaking and strong communication are essential tools, not just for global citizenship, but for building trust, inspiring action, and connecting with others in meaningful ways. To all our listeners, remember that every word you speak has the power to make a difference. See you next time on Voices for Global Citizenship. Bye!